Hi, good morning. My name's Simon Parker. I'm the guest editor of Exhibition News, and I am very excited this morning. I'm very excited because I've got not one, but two chief execs and two very well-known, well-respected, creative, I would say, industry legends. And they are, so that is one hell of a billing, both of you. But we've got.
I'm waiting to see who else is coming on, Simon. I can hop off, to be honest.
Sorry, they can come, and instead we have.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
there it is.
Ed Tranter, who you'll all know from 73 Media, and Peter Jones from 19 Group. So, and I'm talking to them today about. In fact, I've been speaking to quite a lot of people about launches, and launching seems to be at the moment something that people are very enthused by and are doing in spades. So, I'd really like to investigate really the new JV. Is it a JV? So let's get it right from the start. So explain exactly what this coming together is and how it came to be. Peter, do you want to start?
Shall I go?
And you have a go. You have a go.
Yeah. I'll just keep shaking my head until he gets it right.
Yeah.
JVs are a bit tricky, and I will quote him, but somebody who I won't say his full name, but it rhymes with Ayman Imbal, once said to me, "Never do a JV." So they're really messy. So if it's not a JV. This is actually says it's 19. It's part of 19. It's a business, a subsidiary within 19 Group that we've got together with Ed. As you can see, very much Ed is still very much 73 Media as well.
Yeah.
Subsidiary is a part of the 19 Group, and it is led by shareholding director along with the rest of the team by Ed Tranter.
Okay. And Ed, can you explain? I mean, did this idea come overnight, or I mean, where did explain a little bit about the genesis of exactly what you are doing?
So I can explain what we're doing, but actually in terms of where the idea came from and all the rest of it, with the risk of, I mean, we all know I like to talk, so cutting myself out of something, but actually how it all came about has to go to Peter, because it was him that was the driving force behind the idea, which is how we then got in conversation. And then, so perhaps if Peter talks about that, and then I can talk about what it is we're doing.
Brilliant. Okay.
That's my bit.
Peter, well, the ideas man.
As we both like to talk. You introduced me as a legend, Simon.
You are.
I'm just about going grey enough to fit the status of a legend.
Well, sadly,
my case will never know if I'm going grey or not.
I remember your first day in the industry. That makes me, I don't know, a has-been.
This is why I blame you. So for everyone that doesn't realise, Simon Parker is my first boss. You brought me into the industry. So to all those people that I irritate on LinkedIn on a daily basis, yeah. Simon Parker's responsible.
And Peter taught me everything I know.
So this is actually related to the question, where did the idea come from? Because you employed me, Simon, 25 years ago when you were sales manager, you might be group sales manager of the industrial shows yes. At an exhibition, what became Miller Freeman. And I was your senior sales executive on Subcon.
I can't believe that he's having to remind me. I do remember it.
I remember that first morning.
I remember it as well. It's instilled on both of our memories.
I remember saying to you, what I do? There's this bit of paper and there's boxes, and you just do that. 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 times equals the space rate. That's what you're selling. I was like, right, got it. Done.
Nothing's changed.
No, it hasn't changed. So where did the idea come about? So I was working on Subcon, and it was the first exhibition. So the first experience is often the most memorable. And it was just fantastic, because not only at that moment did I realise I absolutely loved working for somebody called Simon Parker, but I also loved exhibitions, and also being part of Subcon. Simon, back in the day, 25 years ago, was a brilliant show, really yeah. Great show. A real British heritage, good old manufacturing, 500-600 exhibitors, amazing show. And I loved it because industrial shows are fantastic. They're very innovative. They're very much about creating, and they require big kit. These would be big kit on the stands. Big kit requires big stands. Big stands require big space. Requires big halls filling up the NEC. And so it's always really been in my blood. And then from Subcon, I moved on to other shows, ended up in thing. And Alison Jackson, who's a group MD, who certainly keeps business and me on track. She also has an industrial background. So she's run the Quimey shows. And she also loves industrial shows. So we kind of got industrial running through our blood. We've always, since 19 Group started 3 years ago, with the backing of Phoenix Equity Partners, we acquired Western Business Exhibitions at the very beginning, nearly 3 years ago. And I'm sure some of the viewers probably know the shows around fire, security, safety, etc. And there was one anomaly. There's a show called Main Tech, which is an industrial maintenance engineering show, which is a bit of an odd fit. And there were various discussions 3 years ago. What do we do with that? Just divest it. But Alison and I always said, we love industrial, and at some point we're going to get onto that and do something with it. It's always been the aspiration. About 18 months, I started calling around all the other organisers that run industrial shows, saying, "Can we buy your shows?" And they're like, "No." So it's Plan B. And we've been very honest, and I told all of these organisers, we either want to, grow in industrial by acquisition and/or launch. So we also started speaking to the stakeholders, the venues. We always stay really, really close to the venues. And so we've got aspirations. We want to grow in this space. And that was the moment where one of the biggest venues in the UK, Ahead, said, "Have you heard of somebody called Ed Tranter?" And the rest is history, isn't it, Ed?
Well, I think what you failed to listen to at that point, as you were writing my name down, was "Don't touch me with a barge pole." But I mean, it was a win for me. So, we've got to take the positives. So, and so I guess picking up the story from there, Peter, I mean, obviously everybody knows Peter from LinkedIn. And I think that's safe to say. That was kind of my knowledge of him. I'd met him a few times, very just loosely to say hello, but we hadn't really ever, our paths had never crossed. We weren't in the same markets. We'd never worked on shows in similar areas at the same time. And, when it's like at EN or whatever, it's a kind of a hi-bye kind of moment. So he invited me to, I think it was Sticks and Sushi for a lunch, for a get-together. It was like a first date. And, I was very nervous, sweaty palms, slightly, excitement building. But it was, and you don't know how you're going to get on with somebody or not. And so anyway, so we had a good conversation. He walked out. It was very awkward. And then
despite that, you kept with it.
We had a really good chat, and he had a really clear vision for what he was trying to achieve. Manufacturing and engineering is a subject area that I know well and have always been passionate about and excited about. It wasn't something I was looking at all, to be honest with you. We were doing all our own stuff. But the opportunity came along, and he approached me and said, how would you like to look into this? So we looked at areas of acquisition that could be an opportunity for them, and how the industry works. So I guess what I was bringing in was understanding the detailed structure of how things come together. Manufacturing and engineering are absolutely one coin, but they're two sides of that coin. And so you need to understand that it's two different audiences. And even within the subsets of those, there are different audiences, again, that you have to appeal to get engaged. And I was excited about the prospect of it. I was very excited about getting to know Peter and AJ and John and the rest of the 19 team, excited to be part of that. And then they had a really clear plan, and it was well funded and well resourced. And we all know that with launches, there's lots of people that do let's put a toe in the water, let's give it a whirl. And, they never work. Nothing ever works if you give it a whirl.
I'm always intrigued about this process. Was there a key moment when you thought, we've definitely got something here? Or is it, is it black and white? Do you know that there is absolutely a show in it?
I think nothing in life is guaranteed. You can, and we all know that. I mean, everyone that's been in the industry long enough knows that. But what we do know is that it's a growing market. We also know that in a it's absolutely categorically clear that in a post-Brexit, post-pandemic economy, the manufacturing sector in the UK is still with the 9th biggest manufacturer on the planet. 10th biggest for export. It employs 19% of the UK's workforce. And if we are going to drive a stake into the ground saying Britain is open for business and all that sort of stuff, whilst I agree, I think with everybody on this call that business to business events and all events will help in that enormously. Beyond that, actually, manufacturing and engineering is a huge area that we can grow the economy from and say Britain's open for business. So there's a huge amount of stakeholders, there's a huge amount of volume of companies involved in it, and there's a huge amount of potential attendees. So in terms of a market to go through, if you understand those stakeholders and you've researched it properly, which we have, then you've got the best possible chance for success.
Yeah. So, Peter, I mean, it's that kind of balance between instinct and data again, isn't it? It's kind of, you could do as much research as you like, but ultimately, at some point, you're going to say, right, okay, let's go for this.
Yeah, it's all of those things, Simon. It's instincts, it's data, it's just having the guts to jump in and do it, and enough research, but not too much research, and a vision. So one of the moments for me with Ed, where I thought, wow, this is a moment where this light bulb is really shining brightly now, is we sat in front of a very huge association body, Make UK, and we explained the vision. And going back to the Subcon days, I remember when there was a huge collection of shows together at the NEC, Man Week.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and there's this huge showcase, showing off Britain's industrial horsepower.
Yeah.
And since then, there's several great shows around, but the market has become more fragmented. So there's lots of shows in various venues all over the UK. And I'm not really sure what drove that, but there's lots of smaller shows around. And our vision that we floated to Make UK, as Ed just explained, that Britain is one of the most powerful exporters of manufacturing expertise globally. Yet we've lost that Man Week, that huge industrial showcase, blockbuster platform, and that's what we want to create. And that was the moment where the head of Make UK said, "We are in. That's what we need that platform." And from that moment, that's the catalyst that once you've got them, the chess pieces on the chessboard, then the others start to come in. And then off the back of that, and that kind of an endorsement, Ed has been able to go out and build an advisory board of the heads of all of the other big stakeholders very quickly.
Yeah. So it's that vision that you're selling, obviously, which makes perfect sense, backed up by the research that you did, Ed, and hopefully then. And what kind of reaction have you had? I mean, I guess the question at the heart of that is, now is probably seen as not a great time to launch, but you may think differently.
I think that from my perspective, actually now is a great time to launch because markets are wanting to get back. They are wanting to get out and meet people. We all know that. The issues that people are facing at the moment with transitions like Confex, it wasn't due to a lack of registrations. It was due to the fact that they couldn't provide the event that they wanted to provide. So the desire to actually meet again and be face to face is palpable in every market, I think. I think one of the other aspects that makes it a good time to launch is that everyone is looking at things with fresh eyes. It's like a restart for every sector and every industry, which is opportunity. I mean, I know you were saying you've had Matt Benyon on, and myself and Peter and Ash Roberts and Matt were on a thing for ETT talking about launches, and I think he said he had 23 that they've just given the green light to.
Yeah, I think he had a long list of 114 or something, which
exactly
is...
so either we're all wrong or it's a good opportunity. And I think it's coming at things fresh. What we don't want to do is try and create a show that is replicating what someone else is doing. It's not about a Me Too thing. This is about having our own vision, our own plan, which is why we're building something with a multiplicity of parts all in one place.
Yeah.
That provides for the broad brush across the whole of manufacturing and engineering, not just one small aspect therein. And also it's about working closely with key stakeholders. So we have got, government involved in the advisory board and within the support. We've got the main industry bodies involved. We're talking with government at a senior level. I mean, we did have we were planning a launch at the House of Commons on the 15th of July, but that has obviously just had to move. I think that's going to be moved on. That's going to be a September, I suspect now. But But the point is, that's how we're going about it. And we've engaged with a massive amount of media partners. There's about 45 publications that are supporting it now. I think we've got about 150 pages of advertising across all different sectors.
Good start. So, and Peter, just taking that question as well, in i.e. the kind of timing of the launch, I guess also it's massive disruption, and out of that disruption comes creativity.
I'm still busy. I was just trying to Google the word multiplicity, Ed. What a word, multiplicity. I have no idea what that means.
If I keep going like this as I say it as well.
He's a bright lad.
Just literally multiplicity.
Don't let the tattoos fool you. I can string a sentence together.
Yeah.
I should have stayed at school, honestly. Brilliant. So, so timing for a launch, volatility of the chaos. Look, we started off this, luckily, before you hit record, talking about Phil Saw, our chairman. And Phil has stood up. I mean, Phil's been my chairman, my mentor and guide for the last 14 years. And he's always said the best time to launch is during a recession. The best time to launch is, when no one else is sometimes, and it's in that chaos and the volatility. Ed's explained many commercial reasons why people coming out of the crisis need to get back to business, need to get back to meeting people. It's often a time for the smaller operators to be very nimble and dynamic and move quickly. Whilst sometimes some of the larger organisations, it takes a little bit longer. To get things to normalise.
Do you think that's it? Do you think that's it in the sense that it is just that they've got quite an elaborate process, and launching by its nature requires agility and I guess sort of speed? Yeah.
I'll be cautious.
Yeah,
tread cautiously, and not to ever put down a larger.
No. I'm not asking you to.
But launching is about agility and speed. So I've always described it as getting involved in a pub fight. Not that I've ever been in a pub fight, by the way. I wear glasses and I wouldn't fail one in a pub fight. But if I was in a pub fight, I can imagine you just need to jump in, just start kicking, punching, trying to cut, grab a bar stool, push them against the fruit machine, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
You've given me my headline for this already, so that's great. Launching is like a pub fight.
I think to follow on to my violent friend is, I think that actually
you're rescuing me, aren't you? You're rescuing me.
I am a little bit. But I think agility, absolutely. It's very difficult when you reach a certain scale to move at the same pace as if you're a small business or a smaller business. I mean, that's just reality. We all know that, because there are layers of decision making that have to happen. There are things that have to be ticked off in a way that is different.
Yeah.
So to be fair, I mean, if you look at, that's one of the things actually I admire a lot about Easy Fares is, for a scale of business, they have managed to keep hold of that ability to, right, we're going to do this, and then suddenly there's stuff happening simultaneously. But I think they're less the norm.
Yeah. So a question, I guess, to both of you: how long did it take from from idea to launch?
When was our first date?
Our first date was about 4 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, so that having been in big organisations, it would take probably a bit longer than that.
So we were yes, from that point to now having a full team in place, and the advisory board and the plan and everything ready and launched and live, and the media partnerships in place and everything done and raring to go, and now we're live. Has about just over 4 months.
Okay. And I guess also within this, I mean, if you look at lots of other organizations, they try stuff, and that's, I noticed on your website, Peter, you're saying what you want to do is create an atmosphere, a culture within your business where failure isn't seen, people are not hammered for failure. And that's something we talked a lot about at Informa and at UBM. Is that something that you encourage within? Well, obviously you do, because it's on your website, but are you also going to try stuff that's not going to work, obviously?
Yeah. So the vision of 19 is we want to become the best organising brand, UK-based organiser. We want to become the best. This was challenged a couple of months ago. We've done a lot of work around culture, Simon. So for the last 6 months, we were doing a lot of work to, involve all 50 of our colleagues here into building the culture of the business. And when we said our vision is to become the best UK organizer, that was challenged by saying, what do you mean? Do you mean the biggest, the most profitable, number of shows, scale of footprint? And it was just simply to be the best in everything we do in exhibition organizing. And to do that, the culture and the environment we create must bring out the very best version of each person within it. And to be the best version and bring your best version of you to your work, you need to feel that you are in a safe space. So, for example, to have a voice, to question the status quo, to speak up and to try new things. And when you try new things, if anyone here came up with an idea for a new show, got out there, tried it, cost the business £100,000 and it didn't work, we would embrace it so hard. And that's the kind of, I guess, an entrepreneurial spirit, is you've got to be prepared to take risks. And that's definitely part of the culture here, is to embrace risk taking and not be afraid to get it wrong. Launches, more often than not do go wrong. Most of our launches at some point in that, setup, I sold a show to, which is spoken about in Matt Benyon at Easy Fairs, CCR Expo, the Clinical Cosmetic Expo. Easy Fairs have taken that show on to do brilliant things. It's really, really nice to see. But in that first year of launching it, it was all over the place. It was constantly going wrong. We were just trying to work out, what is it? And again, it's a bit like being in a pub fight. You just got to be dynamic and just flow with it and try different things. So things were going wrong, but it's about how you put them right and you circumnavigate those barriers. That's the important thing. And ultimately, do you know what? If it doesn't work and it's cost the business money, as long as it doesn't kill us, so what?
Yeah, and then you learn from it. Yeah. And then just to sort of to finish off and to continue the romantic analogy that we started with, was your first date. So where could this all, you're obviously going to go up the aisle and hopefully,
choice of words.
Exactly. But I mean, what is the ultimate? Is it an organic thing, or do you have an end goal, and where, I guess, where could this lead to, I guess?
Well, I think we've already committed to the NEC for the next 3 years. Not that we're seeing it as stopping in 3 years' time. We're not at all. But 3 years is a reasonable length of tenancy to confirm, and we intend it to be at the NEC for the duration of its life, which we intend to be many, 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 many years, and to see it grow and develop. And I think we've got a good fit in terms of culture and ethos and how we go about things, which has enabled us to move as quickly as we have. So certainly from my perspective, this could be like Blind Date, where I say, we got on really well, I can't wait to see him again. And then Peter goes, to be honest with you, there was no spark. There was no spark there. And I think we'll just be friends, which basically means do one. So with the risk of putting it all out there and heart on my sleeve, I think the relationship is really good. I get on very well with the team. We've built a team around it that is really strong. We've been able to bring in some people I've worked with before, like Luke Webster and Mark Newby, who have worked in this industry forever. I know it very well, and we're all really enjoying it. It's actually a really kind of empowering experience, which who doesn't want to be part of that? So it's not got a short life cycle, and if other things come up, and we've already talked about other opportunities to launch things alongside and continue to grow, that would be our continued path.
Brilliant. Peter, do you feel the same?
I do. And in homage to Ed, today I wore my propeller cufflinks. So they're engineering and manufacturing, Ed, just for you.
And as a homage to you, I wore a massive watch. So therefore, we understand each other.
That sounds lovely, and the basis for a great relationship. Well, look, thank you both for spending time. What is good actually is it's not been a great week for events, and we've said that for the last God knows how many weeks. Say again?
If something happens.
Yeah, But anyway, but it's nice. It's nice that, i.e., the date being changed. But the fact is that it's great to have some good news. It's great to see that in those times that people like yourselves are actually thinking about the future. And as you said at the beginning, Ed, face to face, people are desperate for it to come back. And obviously we look forward to It's June. Is it June 22 is your event?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Good luck with that, guys. Thanks for your time. Have a good week.
Yes, Simon.
See you later.
Thank you.